They say the most important combine test is
The 40.
the second most important combine test,
The 40.
and the third most important combine test.
You got it, the 40.
If you do well in the 40, you're gonna open up some eyes. So let's get started, and we're gonna teach you the most important part of the 40, the stance.
The left foot back, half a step. Now, once that foot is in place, it's half of his lead foot lined up with the opening in the shoe half. This foot will not move. Drop down to both your knees. The knee way in front of the toe like it is here would be a very, very aggressive stance. Both the hands are stretched out. Now, I'm nice and flat in this position. Now, I'm gonna come up off of both knees. And I'm gonna walk myself back very, very slowly into the stance. Now, what I'm concentrating on here is I want most of my weight to be on my launch foot, which in this case is the left, and the right shoulder. Very, very little weight on the back foot. With the hand to the top of the line, back nice and flat, the knee in a good launch position, this shin almost parallel to the ground. That to me is a perfect setup right there.
As Rich said before, that back leg, not a lot of weight. A lot of force is coming out of that left leg, the front leg. Weight on that front arm. You're vaulting out. That back foot is staying low to the ground, so we like to call it trimming the grass. So as that leg comes forward, you're trimming the grass with the right foot, keeping that knee driving forward.
Pretend there's a wall here, and it's made out of plywood. And you don't want to run through this wall with your face. You want to run through it with the flat part of your head. To me, there's two options you have. The first option, the most aggressive, and this does take training, is to hold the breath the entire 40 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, that does take training. You can't just show up there one day and say, I'm going to hold my breath for the whole 40. You're going to see you'll gas out.
Right.
The other option, the less aggressive one, would be sipping the air, taking just little tiny breaths. Again, maintaining the pressure in the core and that stiffness that's needed to keep yourself nice and tight. You got to be fast, long steps. Aggressive, punch the knee, and usually how I see it is, here's a quick scenario. 6 steps to the 10, 4 steps to the 20 or 5 steps to the 20 for 11, then 3 and 3 for 17.
Okay.
That's like a 4-4 guy.
So the goal for a fast guy is 6 steps to the 10. For the average high school athlete, he's going to be more 7.
7.5.
7.5 steps. But your goal is to minimize steps without sacrificing the overstride. You don't want to overstride and step out in front of your hip. So it's important that you get that back end push to minimize steps. So the takeaway here is running your 10, getting there in the least amount of steps as possible.
And that's why that first step is so crucial.
Some of the top guys, 60 to 70 meters, they continue to accelerate. So how do you do that? One, well, you got to maintain that forward lean. Number 2, you got to maintain that angle. And the most important verb you can understand is acceleration is a push. Get your hips out in front, just as if you're pushing a car. If a car ran out of gas, you wouldn't pull it to the gas station, you would push it to the gas station. So having the right mental cues, pushing the earth away, trimming the grass, staying at a 45-degree angle, and keeping the shin at a 45-degree angle is another really important element. I like to coach my athletes keeping the knee in front of the toe. If you think about the knee being in front of the toe, it's naturally going to give you that positive shin angle that we want when we sprint. So important to understand these techniques are critical for acceleration. Fundamentals you have to master and understand are: 1, body position, 45-degree angle.
Correct. Again, you're pushing, think of the 40-yard dash as a manual treadmill. And the beginning phase of it, you're pushing the track back behind you.
So once you get into that top end speed and you're running that last 20, at that very end finish, that last stride, not before the last stride. So many athletes try to finish on the last 3 or 4 strides. That last stride is a lean in. That's all it is. The last stride, you throw your chest forward and arms out to the side to get that extra 1/100th of a second